For fun, fair, competitive league racing, check out precisionracingleague.com. Welcome to this week's track guide video, and we are at China at the Shanghai circuit. We're going to do a lap in real time here, and then we'll slow it down as always for the second lap and do a little play-by-play. So enjoy this lap. As we come around the final corner, it looks like it'll be a 1:32.2, and it'll get us just into the top 50. But there are a decent amount of times here, and the top times are high 31s, so we're pretty close. This track took me a while, to be honest, to get in there into that time frame. I had to start with higher wings, and then finally, when I got the car feeling comfortable, I was able to put them down. The tough part is in this game is that in the last game you could slide the car everywhere to gain time. In this one, if you slide the car just a tiny bit, you lose a ton of time. So here we are at the last corner. You want to try to get a good run down this long straight into turn 1. Try not to run off too far there because you're going to get rid of some time if you hit the curb. Our previous lap was just a little bit better, so we built on the previous lap. I think there's some time in the first sector though. So going into turn 1, you want to just dab on the brakes and you want to shift down slowly. The key is start the corner tight and then kind of like at the apex kind of bring it out and then bring it back in because the apex is way later than you think. Another trick there is don't downshift too fast or you're going to lose the car, it's going to slide. For corner number 2, you want to take that in 3rd gear and then you want to short shift up to 4th. I like to hug the inside for some traction. You can also go out wider and then come in to get a little straight line speed, but I prefer to have the car more under control. For the next corner here, you're going to spot just after the 100-meter board, and you're going to shift down to, I shift down to 2nd. I think you can shift to 3rd. For the race, you probably want to do 3rd, but 2nd will kind of make the car dive in a little bit. The next corners here, there are going to be 2 S corners. It's a left and a right. You want to go to the far outside, clip that curb, and you want a late apex. If you take too much curb here, you're gonna compromise the next corner, and you want to try to keep the car to the left. You want to shift down 2 right here to 5th. It's really just downshifting, maybe a tiny bit of brake. This is a very tough part here. I go as far as I can on that right-hand curb, shift down to 3rd. You want to clip that apex, clip the curb on the right, and then here you kind of have to short shift from 3rd and 4th and 5th. It's very easy to lose the car, and don't take too much runoff there as you're going to lose some time. Now this is another tough corner. You want to brake shift after the 100-meter board. There's actually a small piece of curb and then it gets thicker. You want to brake around there. You go down to 3rd, and then here you want to just kind of dab the throttle, get the car to turn, and as soon as the car is getting straight and you're on the far left, you want to start putting down the power. This is also tough for traction. You want to do 4th, 5th, short shift. Maybe even in a 6th, a tiny short shift, but you can pretty much go full there. And then after that, you just have to try to maintain momentum. Here's where I think using the 4-4 wings is definitely going to help you out. I was trying 5.5 wings, which would help me in sector 1, but I lose a lot of time down this DRS straight, and you're going to lose even more time in the race. So here you can take a sip of coffee, enjoy yourself, but what you need to be doing here is spotting your braking point. You can brake right at the 100-meter board, right at when the curb starts. You can push it right at the 100, but it's kind of risky, but you can do it if you're really good on the brakes. You want to shift down to the second gear there. Then you got to straighten the car and short shift to third. After that, you can do full throttle into fourth. And then now we're back at the very last corner. Once again, go right up on that curb because you want to widen this corner as much as you can. And you're going to shift down the fourth gear. Don't run too wide, but you pretty much always have to go 2 wheels over if you want to get the maximum speed. Then you got to flick open that DRS, and there's your lap. But like I said, this track actually took me a while to get used to. I think it took me like 2.5 hours. Usually they come a little bit quicker than that, but I know that some other leagues have been starting, so the times are definitely more competitive, and this is a pretty good time. I think on my perfect lap I could get a high 31, and I think a 32 flat's definitely possible. So now moving to the setup. As I said, I did start off with 4.4 wing. I think you just need them for the straight line speed. The car has a lot of grip too, so you don't need to go much higher than that. If you're struggling, I do 5.5 wing. 6.6 just seems like it's probably too much. 5.5 might be good for the race. I had to balance. I was messing with that a lot for the diff, but for me it always feels the best there. Now for camber, I think this was key. You need a little bit of corner for the camber, so it's a little to the left, and for toe you need it so your car will turn. Now the suspension, this is what actually took me a while to get used to. 7.4 and then 11.9 is what I had it set at. As you can see, I was messing with 11.11. That'll be better for sector 2, and 6.4 for the right height, so you get a little bit better straight line speed. For the brake pressure, I had to bring it up for the long braking. I usually have it at 70, but here I needed to move it to 75, and it just came down a little bit on the PSI for a little more grip. But there's your track guide for China. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the track.